Today's episode is brought to you by Fulton, a modern brand of arch support. Fulton launched the most comfortable, supportive, and sustainable insole on the planet. Fulton insoles have a deep heel cup and a comfortable arch support that aligns your body from head to toe. They're using sustainable materials like vegan cactus leather and cork, allowing them to mold to the shape of your arch and provide customized support. They are also shock absorbing, reducing impact on the body, and are aligned with natural foam to make them extra comfortable. Back in 2011, I broke my ankle. That's a story for another day. Anyway, since then, me and cute shoes have not gotten along. I have to wear shoes that give me the best support for my ankles, but in heels, child, when I wear heels, I have to wear insoles or I'll be looking crazy because I need all the support. If you are in need of insoles that provide customized support, Fulton is offering our listeners $10 off your next purchase at walkfulton.com by using the code POD10. That's code POD10 for $10 off at walkfulton.com. Check out the website to see how Fulton can support you. You're listening to the Slaying Self-Doubt podcast, where we empower women of faith to identify, acknowledge, and accept their doubts and limits and beliefs in order to give birth to their God-given purpose. Join me and sometimes some of my friends on our journey as we remind you that you are not alone. I'm Felicia Wallace, and together we will find our fears and slay them. Welcome back to another episode of the Slaying Self-Doubt podcast. It's your girl, Felicia Wallace. I am so glad to be back with you this week, you guys. I hope that you all really enjoyed these last 3 weeks of just rewinding some of the conversations that we had with some therapists who joined us here on the show. And I don't know about y'all, but I can definitely tell you for me, I was blessed again from rehearing some of those conversations because it definitely is something that I know that I've needed to hear. I know that I heard it the first time, and again, like I said before, like we were in a different season, but this it just felt right. It felt like this was the right thing. It felt like this is something that we should just talk about. And I did have a lot of people who maybe didn't hear it the first time, but heard it again, who were just like they needed to hear that. And I just hope that if you all, find yourself in a space where you need some support and you need some help, that you reach out to one of those young ladies, or to someone within your area to be able to get you the support and the help that you need, to be able to just be the best version of yourself and become everything that God has for you. um I want to welcome all the new listeners and all of the continued listeners. You guys just continue to show up, and for real, y'all, like, listen, today is May 25th. I'm recording this, and today is when I hit 25,000 downloads. Like, y'all gonna make this legit. Y'all about to make this 50,000 downloads come true. Like, I'm just like, Lord, like it is possible. Like it is legit possible that I'm gonna hit 50,000 by the end of 2021. And that was the goal, y'all. I told y'all at the beginning. So thank y'all so much for continuing to just share the podcast, listen to it, respond to me. Like I really do. I pray every single time that I do these shows that, it's still relevant. It's still something that you guys want to hear. And it's still me, right? Like I don't want to pretend. And so it is really just a beautiful thing to see you all just kind of, just continue to support me because it really is me, me. So yeah, the wins of this week, definitely the 25,000 downloads. Like that is a boost. Okay. We are ending the school year, y'all. We are coming, it is coming so close. Like it's so close. I can feel it. Okay. I am super excited about ending the school year for two reasons. One, my youngest son will be promoted from fifth grade to middle school. And so I no longer have elementary school kids. I legit have middle schoolers. And that is just, man, that's all I can say. Like I legit told him, like, dude, you like legit went to school and like are getting promoted or graduating in the middle of a pandemic. Like this is history in the making. Like we are legit, you know, making history right now. So I'm just super proud of him for just I'm proud of both my kids. I'm proud of all the kids, but I'm very proud of my kids for being able to just manage through this as best as they could. You know, grace was extended when it was needed. You know, consequences were installed when they had to be. But overall, they did a really good job. And the end of the year, just they're still end of the year with great grades, and I'm grateful for that. Like I am. I know that there was a lot of kids that virtual learning was not. Pleasant for them, and you know they just didn't do well, and I understand that. So I do not take it lightly that my kids are ending the school year, you know, still on the honor roll system, like still on the honor roll. And I'm super proud of them, so I'm just a proud mom right now. And then the other reason why I'm excited is because it's the summer, and y'all know last year summer was trash, so we are out here legit trying to wrong some rights. I mean, right some wrongs. Right? Is that it? Oh my gosh. I'm trying to make up for last year, right? Because I know that as they get older, they're not gonna want to hang out with me. You know, I'm just gonna be the mom. But I really want to take this time this summer to one. I'm tired of them eating up all my food and you know just kind of being in here all day. And they've done enough being on computers for 8 hours out of the day, looking at screens. I really want to get them out and just see some more of the area, you know, places that we haven't seen. So I'm excited about being able to share that with them, and being able to just you know be like whatever it is, but I'm just being really intentional about being together, you know, during this time. So I'm excited about that. Today I really just wanted to kind of piggyback off of a video that I did last week in regards to being distracted and getting you know a lot being well actually it was about being distracted, but really about information overload, right? And so if you watch the video, which I encourage that you do, but if you watch the video, you heard me share that I just have been in information overload, with really trying to pull from so many different sources, whether it be from podcasts, whether it be from books, whether it be from groups that I'm in, whether it be from coaching programs that I have joined, or, you know, whatever the case may be. I really got to a place where I was rewriting the assignment that God gave me. And I learned through talking to my mentor that, you know, it wasn't that I was doing too much, I was doing too much too fast, right? And I had mentioned to you all before that I kept feeling this prompting on me of what it is that I'm supposed to do. And it's like, God, you ain't telling me nothing. And, you know, sometimes the answer is nothing, right? And it was after I kind of talked to her and we had a very, very much so come to Jesus moment. She was just like, what if you're not supposed to do anything? You know, and when I tell you just in the midst of that conversation, it was like a relief, right? Because this past year has been a lot. It's been a lot for everybody. We've all had our trials, we've all had our tragedies. And, you know, for my family specifically, we lost a lot of the matriarchs and patriarchs of our family. So, literally within the last 12 months, I have been in I guess what people will call it like survival mode, right? So, you know, when everything kind of happened with the pandemic or whatever, like it was really like, oh, I'm afraid, I'm scared, this, that, and the third. And then it kind of transitioned to, okay, let's try to do something differently. Let's show up differently. Let's find a way to, you know, increase our wellness and do all these things, right? And then, you know, when my mother-in-law started to get sicker, it was like, okay, now we got to focus on that, right? And then you know, once she passed and, you know, just kind of going through that. And it was like, it's just like, it just kept happening. Cause then right after that, my grandfather got sick and then he passed. And then my grandmother was sick and then she passed. And so it was like, we were going kind of in this cycle of like, these are the things that were happening. And y'all know the story. This podcast was an assignment from God that had my self doubt and limiting beliefs telling me that nobody would listen. But you, yes, you kept showing up every week to listen to this podcast. And because you keep showing up, so do I. If you enjoy this podcast and would love to support me and future episodes, please consider making a donation by simply purchasing me a coffee. If you would like to donate, click the Buy Me a Coffee link. Now, back to the show. Twofold within this conversation today. Yes, you can be getting information overload, and you can that could stop you, right? You really could be in a place where you are trying to do all the things that you see other people doing, or you think that you should be doing, and you really aren't walking in the fullness that God gave you, right? Because you are so fearful. And that, this is me speaking to me now. Y'all know when we had these conversations, I'm talking to myself. Your confidence is so low. So let me just say this, and I'm gonna help you out. Okay. My confidence was so low in my abilities to be able to do exactly what God is saying that I'm doing, that I was stalling. I was trying to figure out a way I can do it like her, like a way I could do it like him, the way I could do it like them. Like I was trying to figure out what can I take from this person to add to myself to say that, oh, okay, well now I know how to do this. So now I can do that. Right. And it was me pretending, right? For lack of a better word. Not that I don't have the skill, not that I'm not qualified, not that I cannot do what it is that God called me to do, but because I lacked faith and I lacked confidence in myself, I was looking outward instead of looking inward, right? And some of that has to do with what has been happening over the past year. If you are in a season where, whether it's survival mode, whether it's grief, whether it is um I'm just going to use that too. Survival mode and grief, because that's right now. That's where my brain is at. If you're in that space, you can't. You kind of have to sit there, right? And I've talked about this before, of like understanding that I've been in a season of grief, and knowing that it just was kind of happening back to back. And yeah, like when I say that I'm grieving, it's not like, oh, I need to cry every day, or I need to then, or whatever the case may be. It really is just a process. And you don't know how long your grief, everybody's grief season is different. I've spoken to you before about my best friend who passed away 9 years ago now. And I still grieve for her every single year at the time of her passing, and when her birthday comes. Like every single year, it gets better, it gets easier, but it is still a seed like that. Those times they come up again, and it's now at the point where I'm able to, I was at the point, a few years ago, where I was able to explain this to my husband and say, like, this is how I'm feeling right now, and I need to be able to just be in this space. Just let me be sad for a minute, and then I'll be good, right? But when it happens so many times, and so many things, so many disappointments, so many frustrations, so many no's, so many, it is very difficult for you to get out of that because you're processing through it. And this year, on top of our own personal losses, watching our country, our nation have so many losses has been stressful in itself, right? We have had so much turmoil over the past year that it is hard for anybody to say that they're not in a space of just like, oh man, like disappointment and discomfort and frustration. And that could throw you off your game, right? And you can try as best as you can to try to move forward. Now, here's for me, I feel like if I was working, and I am working. Let me change that. If I was in a traditional 9 to 5, I feel like that my focus would be on my work, because that would be the priority at the moment. Being as though that I have the opportunity and the ability to be able to work from home and create my own business, and create this for myself, I have a little bit more time for my mind to kind of wander, right, and my mind to kind of be. And I think that I just had needed to give myself the space to be able to just understand where I was. Now, does that mean that you stop working? Does that mean that you stop moving? That is not what I said. I did not say that this is a pass for you to just take a break, right? What I am saying to you is that you have to be clear on where you are so that you know where you're going, right? And what I had to hear when I was talking to my mentor was very much so like, there is something missing, and that's you. It's you are missing out of it because you are in a different space. Like, you have to be in tune with you, and wherever you are, that is where your answer is, right? And the reality is that I don't know, right? Because I've been kind of all over the place. We all have been, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, we've been in grief mode, we've been in survival mode, we've been in safety mode, we've been in teacher mode, we've been in janitor, chef, whatever, Uber, all the things, all the jobs and all the hats that we've been wearing over this past year has taken a toll on us. And we do have to recognize, on top of the fact that I'm a person, right? And I'm a wife and I'm a mother. And, even in those titles, not necessarily meaning like that requires work, but that's a part of me. And being able to show up as your whole self in every single thing that you do requires for you to know that where you are. And so, as I was just saying how excited I am about the summer and what is going to happen in the summer, one of the other things that I really wanted to make sure that I did is, give myself the space to be able to, spend the time with my kids and spend the time with them to be able to say, like, oh, yeah, this is what we're going to do today. And, not have that for me, not have maybe like the stress of like, oh, I got to meet this deadline or do this and do that. And some of that comes with, um, because some of that comes with organization, right? And it comes with, taking the time to really assess like what's happening, right? And what you're going to do. And so for me, I really am in a place right now where I told y'all, imposter syndrome is real. When I'm in those moments of doubt and anxiety, I ask myself, who's going to listen to you? Did God really call you to do this? Or, girl, ain't nobody trying to pay you to talk to them? These thoughts lead me to procrastination and being paralyzed by my fears and doubts. Throughout this journey of slaying my own self doubt, I have some tried and true practical steps that have helped me, and I would love to share them with you. Head on over to my website at www.feliciawallace.com and download the 5 ways to slay your self doubt. Now back to the show. I'm feeling like, okay, one, you take all the information that you have and, you allow it to be a resource, right? And not a source. And I've heard people, I think pastors, I believe, use this, analogy, even when it comes to like money, right? Like money is a resource. It should not be your source. Like that is not what you solely depend on. And when I can say, because I know this slaying self doubt is bigger than me, and this is a God thing, and He is the source of it, and this is His thing. It was difficult for me to try to be in connection with him when I was off. And the thing about it is that he has never left me. He is right here. He knows what's going on, right? But instead of being honest with him and saying, like, listen, right now I am overwhelmed with, my feelings, right? I'm overwhelmed with like the emotions of things. What do I need to do to continue to move forward in the direction that you want me to go, but not in a place where it's gonna risk me being in overwhelm, because overwhelm doesn't do anything but break you down even more, right? And then you're frustrated and then you really ain't doing nothing because you're doing too much stuff, right? And it really was like I am fortunate, I'm blessed. Like even with this podcast, right? When the initial purpose of this podcast, honestly, was for me to be well. What I thought, let me say that. What I thought it was just for me to share my journey and whatever's going on. Let's have this conversation on a weekly basis, and then it turned into use your platform to be able to highlight other Black women who have had their own self doubt journey, and that they are working through it, and do some practical tips and steps that they can kind of share with everybody to let them know like how are they dealing with their stuff. And so then when it transitions to that, it gave me new life, right? And I actually remember in a live somebody was asking me like, oh, so what's new with the podcast? And I legit, y'all, legit, I can't, if I can remember who it is, I will put it in the show notes. But right now I cannot remember whose live it was. But I remember saying like, oh, the podcast is just a stepping stone. Like um the podcast isn't that's a part of it, right? And it legit was like today when I was like, no, sis, like this is it. This is like, yeah, this is a part of it, but this is a major part of it. Like this platform that you are building, this platform that you are creating, is changing lives. This is the impact that God said He wanted you to be able to make. This is the way that your voice is going global. This is the way that you're sharing your story around the world, and people are being able to see, like this girl out here telling her business, and she's still standing, right? And until I'm able to really, really recognize, and again, like sometimes I'm having these conversations with y'all and it hits me in that moment, right? But it's like when I was able to recognize that this is legit a part of the journey, this is a part of the story, and creating this platform to be able to share my story and allow other people to share theirs is amazing, right? And it's not for the faint of heart, and it's not easy, and it takes work, it takes time, it takes thought, it takes, who do you want to be, like it's a whole process, right? So I don't just like, I know I do be winging it a lot of times sometimes when I be on here, but for the most part, it's thought that goes into it. What am I going to post? What is this conversation going to be about? Editing, this, that, and the third, blah, 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 blah. What am I, who am I going to have? What are we going to talk about? How am I going to direct this conversation? Who show am I going to go on? What am I going to talk about when I'm on there? Like, this is legit a part of slaying self doubt. Every single time that I do this, I have to remind myself that this is a part of it. And so when we talk about, not letting, like information overload, like overwhelm you or whatever have you, again, you have to go back to the start and you have to remember what was the assignment to begin with, right? And it was right now that I'm remembering, what am I always saying? A movement, Slang Stuff That was a movement to empower Black women to overcome their doubt, fears, and anxieties in order to walk into their God given purpose. I have changed that probably like 12 times to suffice for it to be grammatically correct with my air quotes, right? For it to sound snazzier, to sound more entrepreneurial. And I don't need to do all that because God is saying, this is what I called you to do. And guess what, sis? You're doing it. That is exactly what this podcast is. I am legit doing the work. Whereas before, last week, I'm out here like, I'm not doing nothing. Nothing is happening. I don't even know. And just like I said in the video, yeah, okay, yes, I do want to coach. I ain't, but the reality is that I am coaching. I am coaching in different types of way. I am coaching when I'm talking to you on here. I do coach within my small groups. I do coach with my clients, the clients that I do have. Yeah, do I want it to be, in realistic terms, I want to be having like 15 clients, all this stuff, whatever have you. Yeah, that way, all of it sounds great, right? To be able to do that, but everything is in a timely fashion and when God wants it to happen. And I just have had to learn that there's seasons for everything, and understanding the season that I'm in right now. It's not a bad season. It's not a sad season. So I don't want y'all thinking that I'm over here like, so it's not that. It is legit. Um, there are priorities that happen right now. And right now, my priority is to take care of my family. And my priority is to make sure that we are whole and that we're healed and that we're healthy and all of those things. And at times in entrepreneurship and in life, some things do have to be put to the back burner. And you can still build, and you can still work, and you can still create. I'm not saying that again, hear me clearly. This is not a episode to tell you like you need to just stop and don't do anything and just wait. No, you continue to do what you're doing, because if you recognize where you are already doing the work. Like legit, here I am saying this is what I want to do, and I'm doing it. It may not be the way I want to do it, exactly, but I'm doing it every single time I use my voice, every single time I open my mouth. I am empowering Black women to overcome their doubts, fears, and anxieties in order to walk into their God given purpose. That is what I am doing, period. And so I need to be able to rest in that. And that just empowered me saying it again, that like, own your stuff. Like, you are doing it. It does not have to look like Susie, Sally, Tanya, Lisa, Tamika. It don't have to look like all of that stuff. It is yours. And The beauty in walking in your God-given purpose is that the only person that knows what it looks like is him, right? And so when you are in a space where you like at this present moment, you guys, like there is a I can feel like in real life, like the spirit, like I can feel like the Holy Spirit just being like, sis, you're doing the work. Here you are stressing yourself out. And that prompting you was feeling was like trying to let you know, like, hello, we're already here, we're outside, like, hello. You're doing it every single time you turn on this mic, every single time you agree to do a live, every single time you agree to be on another podcast, every single time you encourage somebody over the phone or via text or via email, every single time somebody reaches out to you and they need a moment, every single time that you talk to your clients, every single time you are slaying self-doubt, every single time. So I want you to find comfort in knowing that you are doing the work and what you are doing is enough for right now. God will bless you the way that you are looking for it. I promise you, he will give you every single thing that he wants for you to have. Period. It may not come when you want, but I can guarantee it will be right on time. So I really do hope that y'all got something out here. I feel like there's somewhere in the middle. I started rambling, but y'all know how I be. Y'all are loyal, so I know that you got me. You got me. But I just want to thank y'all for just continuing to rock with me. Like y'all have really been. This is I'm grateful. I really am grateful. And I know I say that a lot, but I need y'all to know that I really am grateful for just your continued support and always kind of being here for me. And all your kind words, all your love, all your support, it means the world to me. So before we end out, I just want to remind you all that if you are interested in starting your slaying self-doubt journey, I am your go-to person. I literally share my journey every single day with you all here and also in real life. And I know what it feels like to be in a place of uncertainty, to be in a place of like, is this even going to work? And knowing that there's something greater in you, you just cannot pull out by yourself. And so I would love to be a part of that journey with you. I would love to be able to hold space for you, to be able to watch you grow in this journey. So if that is something that you are interested in, you can go to my website, www.feliciawallace.com, and book a connection call with me. It is literally a complimentary 30-minute call for us to just see if we're a good fit, see, if there's a way I can help you or if I need to direct you elsewhere. Um, Remember, coaching is not therapy. I have resources on the website for that. I am not a licensed therapist. But there are some things that coaching, shoot, even partnering coaching with therapy is amazing. So if that is something that you are interested in, like I said, book a call with me. And yeah, guys, I really just want to thank y'all again for like that 25,000. But I saw it as soon as I got on today. So my brain is just like, ooh, girl. But I'm just super excited for everything that God has in store for me, everything that God has in store for you. And until next week. See ya. All right, y'all, that's all for this week. Thanks for listening, and don't forget to share, subscribe, rate, and review. Remember to head over to Facebook and Instagram and follow me at Slaying Self Doubt. Oh, wait, don't forget, go to my YouTube channel and watch this episode, and remember to press the subscribe button. Until next week, see ya.